Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivarjaya Shri Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Nitai Gaur Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we are reading from Canto 6, chapter number 1, entitled The History of the Life of Ajamil, and we will continue the reading from text number 64. And today is also disappearance day of His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Maharaj Prabhupada. So I shall be making an attempt to glorify Śrīmad Bhāgavatam and glorify His Divine Grace, whatever I have heard from Assembly of Devotees. So I seek your blessings. You all can repeat after me. Text number 64. Tam eva tosayam asa. Tam eva toshayam asa. Pitrayenandarthe yavata. Pitreyenarthena yavata. Gramayer manorame kamai. Gramayer manorame kame Prasideta yatha tatha Prasideta yatha tatha Tam eva toshayam asa Pitrenarthena yavata Gramair manoramai kamai Prasideta yatha tatha Any Matajis? Tameva yoshayamasa Pitrenarthena yavata Prasideta yatha tatha Tameva yoshayamata Pitrenarthena yavata Gramer manorame kame Prasideta yatha tatha Tameva yoshayamasa Pitrenarthena yavata Grame manorame kame Prasideta yatha tatha. Word for word meaning. Tam, her, the prostitute. Eva, indeed. Toshayam asa, he tried to please. Pitrena, he got from his father's hard labor. Arthena, by the money. Yavata, as long as possible. Gramye, material. Manaha ramay, pleasing to her mind. Kamai, by presentations for sense enjoyment. Prasideta, she would be satisfied. Yatha, so that. Tatha, in that way. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Thus Ajamil began spending whatever money he had inherited from his father to satisfy the prostitute with various material presentations, so that she would remain pleased with him. He gave up all his Brahminical activities to satisfy the prostitute. You can repeat. Thus Ajamil began spending whatever money he had inherited from his father to satisfy the prostitute with various material presentations, so that she would remain pleased with him. He gave up all his Brahminical activities to satisfy the prostitute. Purport. There are many instances throughout the world in which even a purified person, being attracted by a prostitute, spends all the money he has inherited. Prostitute hunting is so abominable that the desire for sex with a prostitute can ruin one's character, destroy one's exalted position, and plunder all one's money. Therefore, illicit sex is strictly prohibited. One should be satisfied with this. One should be satisfied with his married wife, for even a slight deviation will create havoc. A Krishna conscious Grahastha should always remember this. He should always be satisfied with one wife and be peaceful simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Otherwise, at any moment, he may fall down from his good position, as exemplified in the case of Ajamil. So there are only few verses left, and most of them do not have very short purport. I shall read all the verses and complete the chapter today, and we shall discuss some of the points. The next verse, 65, translation and purport. Because his intelligence was pierced by the lustful glance of the prostitute, the victimized Brahmana Ajamil engaged in sinful acts in her association. He even gave up the company of his very beautiful young wife, who came from a very respectable Brahmana family. Purport. Customarily, everyone is eligible to inherit his father's property, and Ajamil also inherited the money of his father. But what did he do with that money? Instead of engaging the money in the service of Krishna, he engaged it in the service of a prostitute. Therefore, he was condemned and was punishable by Yamraj. How did this happen? He was victimized by the dangerous lustful glances of a prostitute. Text 66. Although born of a Brahmana family, this rascal, bereft of intelligence because of his prostitute's association, earned money somehow or other, regardless of whether properly or improperly, and used it to maintain the prostitute's sons and daughters. Text number 67. This Brahmana irresponsibility spent his long lifetime transgressing all the rules and regulations of the Holy Scripture, living extravagantly and eating food prepared by a prostitute. Therefore, he is full of sins. He is unclean and is addicted to forbidden activities. Purport. Food prepared by an unclean, sinful man or woman, especially a prostitute, is extremely infectious. Ajamil ate such food, and therefore he was subject to be punished by Yamraj. In the last text of this chapter, 68, this man Ajamil did not undergo atonement. Therefore, because of his sinful life, we must take him into the presence of Yamraj for punishment. There, according to the extent of his sinful acts, he will be punished and thus purified. Purport. The Vishnudutas had forbidden the Yamdutas to take Ajamil to Yamraj, and therefore the Yamdutas explained that taking such a man to Yamraj was appropriate. Since Ajamil had not undergone atonement for his sinful acts, he was to be taken to Yamraj to be purified. When a man commits murder, he becomes sinful, and therefore he also must be killed. Otherwise, after death, he must suffer many sinful reactions. Similarly, punishment by Yamraj is a process of purification for the most abominable sinful persons. Therefore, the Yamdutas requested the Vishnudutas not to obstruct their taking Ajamil to Yamraj. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 6th canto, 1st chapter of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, entitled The History of the Life of Ajamil. So here, servants of Yamraj, Yamadutas, are speaking. They were asked by Vishnudutas that in few verses before, why are you taking him? Why are you taking him to abode of Yamraj? Okay, tell us what is sin, what is not sin, who is punishable, who is not punishable. So they demanded explanation why you are taking this man to Yamraj for punishment. According to our understanding, he is not punishable. He is free of sins. So those Vishnudutas will explain their reasons in the next chapter. But before that, they ask Yamdutas to explain why you are doing so what you are doing. And in response, they are giving whole history of Ajamil from his young age, from his early days under his care of his father till the time of death, what he had gone through and what kind of sinful activities he had performed. So these are the verses we are reading. They are saying, they are very angry. They are very angry. Every now and then you will see, this man did this man did that, They are pointing and looking angrily at this person, and how come you are stopping us to do that, He must be punished. This man did this man that. So they are pointing out each and everything. We think that our activities are not been witnessed. In our world, if someone commits crime, they can be easily escaped by manipulating many things, and they may not ever get punished because we are so limited. But in case of Yamraj, he has this responsibility to look after each and every living entity's karma in a way that who commits what kind of activities, and are they punishable or are they supposed to be rewarded. And he has very foolproof system for that. So no one, here Yamdutas also say that, no one can escape the doors of Yamraj. At one point of time, everyone will see doors of Yamraj, abode of Yamraj, for reward or punishment. And so karma acts in a way, in the material world, everyone will commit sin, somehow or other. There is no way one can be sinless. So for that there is atonement, and of course we have process of bhakti yoga, bhakti that completely frees oneself from sinful reactions. So yes, they were very angry. And they were talking about this man, he did this and that. So in the verse 62, you will see. So let us hear a little bit about Ajamil and his companion, prostitute. Ajamil was completely under control of this prostitute. He was fully captivated by lustful glance since the time he saw her first time, when he was in the forest doing his service. He went to collect few items in the forest, his father asked. And that time he saw this Shudra and Shudrani, this prostitute, were in abominable situation. And since then, the lustful desire to enjoy her came in his consciousness. And it was like that, completely. He was, from that time itself, completely just became so maddened to have her as her companion. He came home with the ingredients. His father asked, okay, you brought these things, thank you. Now take bath and come for worship. And so he went to take bath, and then, worship started. He sat down, and yajna is happening, and his father is performing rituals. He was from very pious Brahmin family and cultured family. So this was happening, but still his consciousness was there in the prostitute. Although things were happening in front of him, but he was as if, physically he is there, but mentally he is somewhere else. So he's constantly thinking about that woman. So like that, day and night, he lost his sleep and, his composure, what is he doing, where is he, what am I supposed to do, everything he lost. And then he planned, how can I associate with her? And then he approached her and then said, okay, you come to my house. She said, no, I can't come to your house, but we can meet every now and then. But then somehow or other, he convinced. And he brought that prostitute as a servant in his house. And then as soon as, this lady comes, she says, who is she? And there is another beautiful woman in the house, and that was this Brahmana's, Ajamil's wife. So she said, either she can live or I can live, So she demanded. And this Ajamil, this rascal Ajamil, immediately, by some reasons, threw her chaste, beautiful, and very aristocratic wife out of his house. And then he brought this lady in. And what happens then? Then material pleasure, sense enjoyment begin. And he inherited a lot of wealth from his father, as this verse says. And how long wealth lasts? You have to work and earn money, right? But this Brahmana was just, so much captivated by this prostitute. He was just engaged in this affair with this prostitute. And he spent all his money. And when his money, what that he inherited, got finished, he started doing more sinful activities. The verse is, it says there, Nyayato Anyayato, verse number 66. By proper means or improper means. By hook or crook, he would get some money, he would abduct someone, he would steal someone's money, or he would threaten someone, he would fight someone, he would cheat, he would lie to someone and borrow some money and then use it and never return. So like that, by improper means, he started collecting money. And what he would do with that money? Not that he would invest in some business or or some kind of investment, or to worship Lord. No, he was worshipping this prostitute. That verse says, worshipping prostitute. He was basically serving prostitute. Is this life meant for serving prostitute? No, it is very sinful. So these Yamdutas were very, very apt that, this man must be punished. Look at this, life is given, human form of life is given to worship the Lord. And see what this man is doing. He is worshipping this prostitute. He must be punished. Again and again they pointed out, And this lady, this prostitute, what is she doing? This verse says that she was full of karma. She was full of desire to enjoy material life. And the word here in the 64th verse, grame, we know the word gramya katha, right? So what is meaning of gramya katha? Village talk. And more elaborate understanding of that? Useless talk, mundane talk, material talk. Anything which is not related to Krishna is Gramya Katha when we speak. So here, Gramyer Manorame Kama. Gramya Kama means, how to infer this now? What is the meaning of Gramya Kama? Mundane desire for sense gratification, material desire for sense gratification. So she was always asking, demanding, not asking, demanding. Because she also knew this man is now under full control of my whatever, lustful glances. So she completely exploited him. And always she is demanding, bring me this, bring me that. And this man, Ajamil, would immediately, yes ma'am, bring me Banaras sari, immediately he would take train to Banaras and, get the sari, Yes. So like that, she was always asking many, many things. And particularly here in this context, it is about, decorating her body. She would ask for different ornaments and clothes, and this kind of things she would always ask. And this man immediately fulfills. And that's how he plundered all the money. She never asked anything about spiritual things. Okay, take me to Dham for darshan of the Lord, or let's do some yajna. She would never ever ask any kind of spiritual activities, spiritual activities we do, but always she would ask for this kind of material pleasures, material sense gratification. And in verse number 66, we hear she is addressed as Kutumbini. So, Kutumbini, Kutumbam. What does that mean? So this man was using money to maintain the family of this prostitute. Is what it means. So prostitute means, she had 9 or 10 children, right? So not all the children were from Ajamil. She is prostitute, so she had many, many children and from many different men. So she had her own kutumb, her own family. And this man is maintaining her and her children by using his money. So this is what it means, Kutumbini. And it is said that he was so fallen. This Ajamil would eat whatever, she cooks. We hear that. Remnants. But here, Yamadutas don't say remnants. They said that food as mala, stool. So she would cook and then she would feed her children, and then she would eat, and then whatever is left, she would say, Ajamil, eat now, like that. So this is the situation, and Ajamil happily ate. So Yamdutas are explaining, he was eating actually stool. By first of all, food cooked by such a low-class woman is very poisonous to your consciousness, and then top of that, their Mahaprasad, so contaminating. It is said one should eat food from only 2 people. That is the best food one can get. Mother and wife. Why? Because they have so much love when they cook. And what if mother and wife is Vaishnavi? And then it's the best. It nourishes your body, nourishes your brain. It makes you healthy spiritually and physically. So this is the best food. But what he was doing, look at this, prostitute. She had no affection for this man. No affection whatsoever. And whatever she cooked, this man was eating. I heard a little story from Radha Govind Maharaj. So he mentioned, he heard in his village, in his young age, that there was one big mercantile person in the village, and he had a servant. Now his servant somehow got attracted to a low-class woman in the village, and a few days he didn't come to the work. So this man, his master started thinking, where is he? And then someone said, oh, he started living in that woman's house, Oh, like that? And then he felt compassion. Okay, let me go and bring him back. So he went there. But this servant overheard that, my master is coming to save me, to rescue me. So he conspired, he thought, oh, if he comes, then he will take me. So let me do something. So when his master came, he planned such a way that immediately, he started eating in the same plate of that woman, what she was having, And then as soon as his master came, he said, Master, please forgive me, I'm offensive. But you can't do anything more, please don't take me. Now I am even more fallen. Look at this, I am eating from the same plate of this woman, And this master, so he is completely gone now. He didn't take him back, So like that, one should be devotee. As a devotee especially, we should be very, very careful what we are eating. It takes great toll. If we consume anything which is not offered and cooked by unworthy person, so we should always have prasadam, first of all, cooked by Vaishnavas. Another point, in the last verse, number 68. Now, these Yamdutas are saying, don't think that we are his enemies. It is good for him. We'll take him to abode of Yamraj, he'll be punished and he will be purified for that. Don't think that, we are his enemy, and, so that's why, don't obstruct us in our duty. But importantly, they actually, they have mentioned each and every detail. See how Ajamil fell down and what kind of sinful activities he did. Every activities they did. But interestingly, they didn't say that he chanted holy name. Right? Why? Because they were not knowing the Bhagavad Dharma, the understanding of glories of holy name. They were not aware of that. They never heard from Yamraj, their master, And they thought that, Maharaj is the supreme, he is Bhagwan, there is no one above that. But who are these people, There are no one in our entire career, no one has ever stopped us from our duty. And who you are? But seeing their glorious, beautiful, illustrious form, they thought, they must be demigods, So they were angry, they were upset, but same time they were kind of, obedient to Vishnu Dutas. But they say, don't worry, we are their friends, we are not enemy. By taking this man to abode of Yamraj, he'll be punished and he'll be purified. It is good for him. So let us take him. And then in the next chapter you will hear what Vishnu Dutas will say. So these are the few points from these verses. Anyone has any question here? Next part I'll try to glorify His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Maharaj Prabhupada, by narrating some of his pastimes. Any questions or any doubts so far in this chapter, Ajamil? Yes, Prabhuji. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that's the question, that he was already married to a young and very beautiful girl. So if he had become lusty, then what is going on in his head that he wanted to enjoy with another woman?
Yeah.
If it was woman who was enticing him, he already had one.
Yeah.
So that's the question essentially. Thank you.
So this Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada and Matsarya. So these stages you will see. So Moha is Moha and Mada. Mada means madness. At that stage, basically one forgets. His intelligence is lost. His discrimination power is gone. What's supposed to be do, what not supposed to be do, what is good, what is not. So that stage, it's like a ghost-haunted person. Have you ever seen? If you go on book distribution, you'll see. I've encountered a few of them, So in Swanson Street, you'll see that. So many people walk like zombies, You ask them, stop them, they will stand there and they'll look at you and then start walking, So you can see they are possessed by ghost. They don't know what they are doing, where they are, whom they are talking to. I heard another story from our Radha Govind Maharaj. He had one disciple in Vrindavan, and for short time he got kind of mad. He was not behaving well. He would stand on the road and throw stones on people, and like that. So Maharaj received so many complaints about this person. The Maharaj said, "What can I do? He's my disciple, but now he's mad. He's pagal ho gaya hai," like that. But now he's good. He's in Delhi temple, I heard, and he's doing nice seva there. So after many years, Maharaj asked him, "Do you remember you were doing these things, and we would tie you up, we would beat you up, He says, "No, I can't remember anything." So it was temporarily, for a short time, he was in that stage, and he didn't remember anything. He was not aware of what he was doing. So this moha, mada, and matsarya is extreme actually. It's a stage where intelligence is, the discrimination is gone actually. You don't know what to be done. So although you have, Maya works like that, although he had beautiful, chaste wife with good character, but still the lust the lust was so powerful that he lost his intelligence and he got carried away. This is the thing. Yes, yes, definitely. Mode of ignorance. And kama, mode of passion. Another maybe 15-20 minutes? Yes, we are fasting also half day. And there will be Pushpanjali at 12 o'clock? Yes. His Divine Grace, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, there are a few pastimes I heard from my devotee friends, and these pastimes are described in Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhav, the biography of His Divine Grace, composed, researched and composed by His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, this Bhagavatam, for example, one can speak on Bhagavatam for many, many days. Or, just like Parikshit Maharaj and Sukdev Goswami, in few days, in 7 days they heard. And even if you have less time, one can even, compress it and present Śrīmad Bhāgavatam in couple of days also. So there is such a beautiful literature that one can meditate for as long as you want. His Divine Grace, Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj Prabhupada, at one time in Kartik, month of Kartik, he was giving a lecture at the Radha Kund for 1 month on the book named Nectar of Instruction. It has 11 verses, a small book you might have seen and read also. Starting from Shraddha to Prema, it explains the whole process of Bhakti Yoga. And Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj was speaking on this beautiful book, Nectar of Instruction, for whole month, in month of Kartik. And the verse in that book, we hear Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, right? So what is the meaning of Vacho Vegam? Controlling urge to speak. And expanded explanation of that? Speak only about Krishna. So whatever we speak other than glorifying Krishna and Vaishnavas is not beneficial. So one incident, King of Manipur organized an event where he wanted to invite all the saintly persons from his kingdom and wanted to hear from them. Now this king, he didn't have so much spiritual advancement, but he was still pious, but he didn't have proper discrimination that whom one should hear and whom one should not. So he considered every sadhu looking person as genuine, and we should hear from them. Of course we should respect them, but not necessarily we should hear from all sadhu looking person. They may wear clothes and represent, they look like sadhu, but we don't know what consciousness they have. So this king was also unfortunately like that. But nonetheless, he invited everyone, and he invited His Divine Grace Prabhupada as well. When I say Prabhupada, now he will be our Prabhupada's Prabhupada. Okay? So he invited Prabhupada as well. And this event went for 3 days. But now so many other so-called sadhus also came, and they were not Vaishnavas. They were smart Brahmanas. And they heard that Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj is coming. And if he comes, and if this king hears from him, then we are finished. This king will become Vaishnava, and then our income will stop. Business will be closed. So let's do something that this king never get to hear from Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj. So they, from first day, they started conspiring, and they arranged a schedule in a way that Maharaj, Prabhupada's turn would come in the end of the day. But then, they would stretch, and time is over now, we should conclude. We'll schedule him tomorrow, like that. So first day, they didn't give him chance. Second day, also same thing. They didn't let him come to stage and, speak. And then third day also went like that. So this king noticed that they all are speaking, and some of them are even repeating their session. But this holy man hasn't spoken. What is wrong? So he went to the tent where Maharaj was staying, and he inquired from one of the servants. He kept nice arrangement for all the guests came, and there was one servant for Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj as well. So he asked about well-being of this person. Is he okay? Is he fine? Is he comfortable? So he found out that the food he is offering every day, the meals, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj is not eating. So this king, knowing that, become more worried, more perplexed. What happened, And then he immediately went to see him. And then in this humble mood, he inquired, did I do anything wrong? Did I offend you in any way? So he said, no, you are fine, nothing. And then he said, then why are you not accepting the food we are offering? You haven't eaten anything, and this is the third day you are not eating anything. So Maharaj replied that, Prabhupada replied that, how can I eat without serving my Lord? So it's like, how can I take veggies without giving my service to someone? So you are offering me this food, but I haven't served you. You have invited me to speak, but I haven't spoken yet. So I haven't given you my service. I haven't glorified the Lord. So how can I accept anything in return? So this king became alert. Oh, no. I'll make sure that you will get chance to speak, and we'll hear from you. And the third day, end of the third day, same thing happened. But then king interrupted and said, no. We haven't heard from this Maharaj. Please, let him speak now. So these smart Brahmanas said, our muhurta is, changing now, and, this and that. We have to start our yagya, next process soon, otherwise it's not good muhurta. So, okay, you have only 5 minutes. So Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj was given only 5 minutes to speak. And Maharaj in 5 minutes, Prabhupada in 5 minutes gave full Bhagavatam, full Krishna consciousness, and then this king was blown away, and whoever else heard, everyone was blown away by this short 5-minute speech by Prabhupada. And you will see how transformation happened to that king. There are still, today, till date, there are so many Vaishnavas in Manipur because of such saintly king. And they are very, very, very glorious devotees, very staunch devotees. And then, again, this king met Prabhupada and said, now please you eat something, you haven't eaten anything from so many days. So he said, no, don't worry, I have taken tulsi leaves and that is sufficient. Thank you. And then Maharaj left that day. And from there, from Manipur, he took a train to Shantipur. Not Shantipur, Krishnanagar. And from there, he came to Mayapur. And from there, he went to market, purchased some vegetables, and cooked some bhoga, offered to the Lord. And then he partook the prasadam. 3 days fasting. So this is how he exemplified Vacho Vegam. So this is just one word from Nectar of Instruction. He was not only giving lectures, not only speaking, but he lived by that instructions of these scriptures. And his life, his activities was example of that. So like that, it's not astonishing that he would speak on one book for whole month, just 11 verses for whole months, or even one verse for, we also hear that he spoke on first verse of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam for 6 months? Huh? Yeah. 3 months or 6? 3 months. Long time, yeah. So one verse, first verse of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, he gave lecture for many, many months. So this is Srila Prabhupada. Another time, how he got this title, Siddhanta, we know that he wrote Surya Siddhanta book, which is about astrology, Vedic astrology particularly. So he was a very scholar person, very, very intelligent person. There was one man in Kolkata, a professor in university. He was also an astrologer, but he was very much influenced by Western astrology. In Western astrology, we see that it is based on sun rather than moon. Our astrology is based on movement of sun and moon both. And we have notion, till date we have this notion, anything Western is good, anything Western is better. And whatever we have, is something inferior. Whatever we do, whatever we have, okay, we go to Westerners or Western people, and then, it has to be certified and, validated by them. Then, oh yes, we have good, either it is yoga or Ayurveda or vegetarianism, everything is there in our culture, but no, when Westerns accept, then, oh yes, this is good, isn't it? So the same mentality creeps in till today in Indian people. They don't value their own asset. So this man, this professor was also like that. So Western astrology. And then he did so much research and he kind of wrote many books. And there was one event held in the university where he presented his thesis work on the astrology. And that's where our Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, was also invited to speak on Vedic astrology. And in the presentation, he smashed this professor's each and every point he made in the thesis, left and right. And whatever counter argument can come, when you present, okay, you have presented this, I defeat your point in this way, but then other person will again counter argue. No, but what about this? So Maharaj, Prabhupada, presented in such a way Vedic astrology that he smashed this person's PhD like anything, and his whole in front of so many people, he did that, and it says that that professor passed stool right in front of everyone, So this is our Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj. Another time, there is another sadhu named Radharaman Babaji, and he invented a mantra. I can't remember that mantra. Do you remember, Prabhuji? Yes. So instead of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, this person invented this mantra and asked his followers, and he was a very influential person, and many people were following. And in fact, if you see history, until Bhaktivedanta Maharaj came, Vaishnavas were not very respected in the society. Why? Because of that sahaja mentality. It became so dilute and degraded that people were not respecting Vaishnavas. Because they are just sentiments, bunch of sentimentals, and they talk about, Radha, Krishna, and they dress, men dress like Radha and gopis and, do funny things, these all sahajas thing. So, noble person won't take them seriously and never respect them. As if, just today, for example, devotees, we won't go and, take advice and take someone seriously who is talking some nonsense, right? We just, theek hai. Who cares what you say? So like that, Vaishnavas in that time were like that. They were not being respected. Why? Because, all sahaja mentality. People would understand, what is this? This is not spirituality. Even common people would make it out of that, So Bhaktivedanta Maharaj and Prabhupada took great effort to actually, slowly, remove this sahaja mentality and bring in pure Vaishnavism, pure Vaishnava practice. They did so much work on that. And that's why today Vaishnava culture is actually flourishing and is been most respected by everyone. If they see these are Hare Krishnas, naturally, good people. Even non-devotees will respect like that. Oh, they are nice people. They are good people. So this Radharaman Babaji was one of them, such sahaja, and was very influential, and he invented that mantra, and he was like, people were not chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but rather than, they are chanting this bona fide, concocted mantra. And Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj Prabhupada, also defeated his line of explanation about that mantra, and he defeated that, this is all bogus, and why? These are the reasons, like that, and he would not give him any respect. Now this person was also very influential in the society, and same our Prabhupada also at that time was very well known by that time by his scholarly effort to present Krishna consciousness. So at one time, this Radharaman Babaji came to his father's house, Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, and kind of, he complained that your son, what he thinks of himself, he never gives proper respect to me. We say Haribol, so you in return you say Haribol, right? So like that he would say this mantra, half mantra, and then he would expect, Maharaj, Prabhupada would respond in same jubilation, Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja, whatever. But he wouldn't respect like that. So he was complaining Radha Raman Babaji. And then Bhakti Vinod Maharaj or maybe our Prabhupada responded. I'm not sure who responded, but they said, because he doesn't associate with Sahajas. He doesn't associate with Sahajas like that. So it was like a big blow on his face. What is this, and situation became so intense that, everyone was disturbed. Such a great sadhu, Radharaman Babaji was insulted by this boy, like that. But yes, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj was such a fearless, that's why we call him Simha Guru. He never compromised on when it comes to presenting, Krishna consciousness. And all the cheaters and debauchees are kicked out in front of him. Another pastime, a little incident happened. He was in Bengal, Bangladesh, and he was visiting one village. So everyone in the village heard that Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj is coming to our village. We are so fortunate. Everyone was so happy. Oh, Maharaj is coming, Maharaj is coming. So everyone, out of their affection for Maharaj, they wanted to serve him. And whatever means they had, someone had some money, someone had more money, more commodities, someone would bring, full cartload of, valuable things, vessels and fruits and vegetables, clothes and whatnot, So everyone by their own means gathered something to greet Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj and present him some gifts and seek their blessings. So there was one lady in the village, very poor lady, old lady. She also heard this, and then she was also very much inspired. Oh, let me go and take his blessings. But what do I have to give him? It is said in the Shastra, when you visit any holy person, any Vaishnavas, any devotee, who is in exalted position than you, senior devotee, guru, or equivalent to guru, spiritual masters, Siksha gurus, you should take some gifts and you should offer them something. This is the proper etiquette of Vaishnava. So everyone was considering, okay, let me take this. So this lady, poor lady, old lady, didn't have anything. She even doesn't know that what would be my next meal in the evening. So that kind of situation she had. Just a piece of cloth she was having and just, doing whatever she was doing. So she thought, okay, today morning I cooked something, so there is something there. So she went to that fireplace she had cooked her meal on. So there was some ashes. The wood she would have burned, and there is some ashes left over. So she took fist full of ashes and she went there. I'll offer this to Maharaj, like that. And everyone was queuing up to see Maharaj. And then some of the servants, okay, now her turn came. What have you brought? Oh, I have these ashes. She just, in fear, showed. What is this? Is it something to offer or what? Like their servant said, no, you can't offer this one. And then there was some commotion, some devotees were saying, okay, let her go and this and that. So Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj heard. And he said, what's the matter? So they said, this old lady wants to come to you, but she has brought some ashes. And that's why we are, telling her not to come, don't give him these ashes. It's not something valuable to give. What is the use of this? The Maharaj said, no. Prabhupada said, no, let her come and take her offer, take her gift. We will use that ashes to wash utensils of Govindji. So when they wash in the old days, they don't have Jif and all those, chemical powder and liquids. They used to use ashes and mitti, soil. They rub and rock, yeah. And it cleans nicely, So yes, accept that offering and we'll use it for cleaning the utensils of Radha Madhav. So like that, Maharaj, saw even this little thing, devotion of this old lady, and accepted the offering. It is called Yukta Vairagya. Whatever you have, one can engage in service of the Lord to please. So his kirtis, his glories are unlimited. We are limited and time is limited. So we may not be able to completely glorify his divine grace. But yes, you can definitely read Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhav, the book containing all the pastimes of His Divine Grace, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, and remember and learn something, and we seek his blessings today and on his disappearance day. His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj ki Jai. His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri Gaur Nitai, Shri Radha Vallabh, Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai ki Nitai Gaur Premanande.